that was a damn good baseball game last night. Unfortunately, your Houston Astros fall to the Baltimore Orioles 8-7. Not the end of the world. The Texas Rangers lost again, so there's still a game and a half up on Texas. They're a game and a half up on on Seattle, who was able to beat the Oakland A's. What's going on, people? It is the Paul Gallant Show on this Tuesday, September 19th of 2023. Playoff vibes last night. I think there's a good chance that in the playoffs, the Astros will match up against this Baltimore team. And Baltimore, who we know was hung the bleep over, deserves a lot of credit. They were ready and then some. They got some dudes in that lineup. Gunnar Henderson, who homered off of Justin Verlander. He goes 3 for 5. Ryan O'Hearn, 5 for 5. Cedric Mullins, 2 clutch hits. That home run you just heard off of Ryan Presley, a double off of Rafael Montero. You had Adley Rutschman, who also had an RBI off of Montero. Wow, what a surprise. You have the advantage over their bullpen, but let's just dive into the big problem for the Houston Astros in yesterday's loss. The sky's not falling. As I said, AL West, they're still fine. But this is one of those games where you look at the pitching and you're just wondering if they're going to be able to get back on track when the real games start. Hector Neris, you are exempt from this. Brian Abreu, injured, unavailable last night after he got hit with the comebacker on his forearm. Also, you are exempt. But the rest of the Astros pitching staff, it's been a disappointment this year. There's no denying that. I tweeted out after Justin Verlander allowed a couple of runs to give Baltimore at the time a 3-1 lead. Can't we just get a couple of starts in a row where good Astros starters allow less than 3 earned runs? Like Sean Mapes yesterday, going into last night's game, we talked about this. I'm just looking for 2 earned runs. I'm not asking for much. I don't have very high expectations for the Astros pitching this year. I'm not saying Verlander stunk. There were moments in this game where he was dealing. But can we just allow less than 3 runs? Even against a tough Baltimore team. Is that so much to ask? Or should I look at Baltimore and say, well, hang on, this team is the exception, Sean? What do you think here?
I mean, I suppose giving up those runs to Baltimore is better than giving those runs up to the A's and Royals. But at some point, you do need your aces to pitch like aces.
I thought he had it for a moment. There were a couple innings where he looked great. But he's not able to get through the whole thing. And then we get to the bullpen. And, I mean, do I even talk about Rafael Montero? Do I even talk about him? I've been telling you this for years. Oh, 30 games in a row. He looked fine. Stop. Just stop. He sucks. He's not a good pitcher. They paid him that contract. Terrible contract. He's bad. I don't want to see him in the playoffs. I think that Dusty Baker feels the need to put him out there because of what they're paying him. They've been trying to find ways to make him feel a little bit more confident. But I felt zero good feelings when Montero came into that game. I just thought to myself, oh boy. I mean, they had the mound visit in the middle. You're wondering whether or not he's hurt. You're almost hoping he's hurt. Because then at the very least, you could say, all right, well, maybe next year he'll earn that contract. Nope. No. I never want to see Montero out there. I really don't. But the other problem is now that Ryan Presley is human. Is he bad? I don't know. But he's human. You heard the home run coming into the segment. 3-run homer. It's a good Baltimore team. I'm not freaking out over it. This is something that could theoretically happen in the postseason. My question is whether or not this happens against teams that are lesser than Baltimore, who is the best team in the American League. But Presley just doesn't have whatever he had in last year's postseason. And I don't know if it's the pitch clock. I don't know if he's just a year older. Whatever it is, he doesn't have it. And I got to say, I get how pitchers feel when they throw pitches. Facts don't care about your feelings. Feelings don't care about your facts. But the last thing I wanted to hear after Ryan Presley allowed a 3-run homer that helped Baltimore win 8-7 last night, the last thing I wanted to hear was him talking about how he thought that pitch was good after the game.
I mean, stuff was good. It's a well-located pitch. It's just, I'm sure he was sitting on it. He got his pitch that he wanted to hit and took advantage of it.
So you were getting the execution.
Yeah. It's not in the middle part of the plate. 9 out of 10 times people roll that pitch over. It's just, he just went down and got it.
Why do they always do this? They make it hard for me. I don't want to yell at Ryan Presley. And we do have to wonder about the curse of being on the bench. Ryan Presley, Dana Holgerson, but it's fine. Jimbo Fisher last year, it's fine. Presley, in his last 6 appearances, 9 earned runs. He's got a 3.84 ERA on the year. And there's a part of me that thinks that it's possible for Presley to get back to being the pitcher he was last postseason, this postseason. But at the same time, when we're looking at Ryan Presley, sometimes these guys just lose it really quickly. 18 of the 31 pitches that Presley threw were strikes, but only 2 whiffs on the 10 swings Baltimore took. They're hitting his stuff, and I wonder if Dusty Baker, come postseason time, is going to think about moving Presley into a different role. Because if you continue to go with Presley as your closer, you might find yourself at the wrong end of a series. That's where we're at with him. It's hard to predict success year to year with bullpen arms. Presley's been great for the Astros for a long time. This year, he has not been dominant. He has been human, as has been Justin Verlander, as has been Framber Valdez, as has been Christian Javier, as has been, well, more than human, Rafael Montero. Rafael Montero's just been Rafael Montero. I suppose this is cheap shots at this point in time. But the Astros pitchers, which were great last year, not great right now, Sean.
No. I was just trying to work out if you're worse than human. Well, I guess you can't say less.
I don't want to call him subhuman, I'm just going to call him paid. New money Montero. I hope he's enjoying that new money. I truly do.
Yeah, I hope so too. So you're not going to apologize to GM Jeff Bagwell?
No. Okay. No, I'm not.
Just Jose Abreu played well.
I demand apologies for Dusty Baker, who I thought did a lot of good things in last night's game. Played Jose Abreu, home run, double. Cleanup spot. Oh, he shouldn't be hitting cleanup. Oh, man, I know baseball more than Dusty Baker. Martin Maldonado. Oh, they should have benched him in the 6th. The Astros were in the middle of a rally. Guess what? Martin Maldonado hit a home run a little bit later. And you haters, you Dusty Baker persecutors, you are exposed. Kyle Tucker gets a triple. Hey, maybe that day off on Sunday helped him get right at the plate. He also had a double. Maybe it helped him have, I don't know, a little bit, better feeling legs so that he could run all the way to third base as quickly as he did. Dusty Baker managing loads properly. It's a shame. The Astros had a lot of good things in this game, especially at the plate. Kyle Tucker, as I mentioned, Jose Altuve, Chas McCormick, Jeremy Pena had key RBI hits. Pena gunned the guy down at home. Hector Neris was awesome in that one inning. But ultimately, when you're looking at the Astros, after last night's game, how do you not look at the pitching? I see a couple people on the Twitter saying I'm complaining. I'm not. I mean, that was a great baseball game. It's not one that's super important, but how do you not look at the pitching after a game like this? We got Thomas calling in the most interactive sports talk show in Houston. 713-780-3776 to call, to text. Thomas, what's up?
Hey, Paul. So as far as, the pitching goes, going to the playoffs, I've been actually on the side arguing for, Javier and Framber and I guess some of the guys that can drop in the ball in the starting position, because I always feel like, I don't know, going back the last 15 years, some of the, kind of the dominant teams, looking at, Red Sox maybe, or I always feel like there's like starters that just they might not have it that year in the regular season, but there's that clutch gene, so to speak. So like I kind of lean back. Maybe these guys don't feel pressure and just feel like they can turn it on in playoffs.
I hope that's true.
The reliever position. Okay, I just feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking Chris Sale, maybe I'm just thinking he sucks now or something, but like I'm just thinking like some of these pitchers sometimes just can turn it on. But relievers, it's more like ice in their veins, and if they don't have it, they don't have, like, if they lose it for good, and then, you know, they're a mental head case. So, I mean, I don't want to just go in and say, hey, it's time to move up Bobby Rayu or Naris to the closer role and just, you know, not give up on Presley but move him down or something. But it's just sometimes these guys, you know, it's more of a walk them through how their day's going, make sure their ego's good. And I don't know if you have the, you know, time to do that with Presley to get him right for the playoffs. But I'll hang up and listen.
Appreciate it, Thomas. Yeah, I don't know what you do with Presley at this point. I do think that Dusty Baker should be open to moving him into a different bullpen role. Right. I mean, we're all hoping that the playoffs start and the Astros are like, finally, we've been bored this whole regular season, even in the midst of a pennant race. But I imagine anyone in the Astros clubhouse after last night's game, you feel down. That felt like a playoff game. It really did. It was a great game. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And if you're in that clubhouse and you're one of the guys who are in the lineup, I mean, you're probably thinking about Ryan Presley letting you down and Rafael Montero letting you down. Those are two guys making a lot of money. That's a natural thing to think. I think that the Astros do have alternative options in the bullpen, as you saw from Hector Neris. That at-bat that he had against Gunnar Henderson, holy smokes, that was awesome. I mean, that was fantastic stuff, and to see him electrified coming off the mound was great. And if Abreu's out there, too, it's not like you don't have other arms in the bullpen that you can use. But there are some guys that right now you're wondering about using at all. Montero, Maton, where you use Presley. Like, that's a question.